Good evening and welcome to Inspire to Achieve Global TV. And thank you for joining me tonight in the Executive Suite. And I am delighted this evening to be joined by a fabulous guest. And if you normally come and join us in the Executive Suite, you probably know the lady that's going to be joining us tonight because she is a regular in the Executive Suite. She often participates with some valuable questions, shares some great insights. And today I persuaded her to actually come on the other side to share her knowledge and her wisdom with us. So I'm going to introduce her in a minute. But as you know, on a Friday evening, it's the end of the week. We've wound down after a busy week. I really like to find out from you, how has your week gone? What has it been like for you? Did you achieve the goals that you'd set out at the beginning of the week, or did they change? So do remember to like, comment, and share. And this is an interactive platform. We're here to connect and speak together. So it's not about me just talking at you. It's not about my guest coming on and just talking. It's about all of us having a conversation together and really just enjoying ourselves here tonight on a Friday night. So if you're in suspense, you're wondering who our special guest is tonight, I'm delighted to say that it is the one and only, the amazing and multi-talented Marcia Phinn. So Marcia, good evening and thank you for joining us.
Good evening.
And how are you today, my dear?
I'm doing great, thank you. I'm doing great.
Lovely. So what's your week been like, Marcia? Share with us some of your week.
Well, I can't see you, Roxanne.
You can't
Am I
see me. I
supposed
can
to
see
see?
you though.
You can see me.
I can see you. Yes, sir. No
I
pulling
can't
faces. I can
see.
see you. I think
I
maybe
can't
if you're connected via your phone, then there's probably the case of okay, it only shows you one side of it. So
Oh
don't worry, but you'll have to go
no.
back and watch the replay to see how fabulous you look. But you're looking good. Yeah, you're looking good. Yes,
No, it's your face that I wanted to see, love. Right. Okay. Well, this week has been an interesting week. As you know, it's been half term this week, so that's always a challenge trying to juggle half term and still do your business at the same time. Because your children or your child is at home and they want attention, they want to go here, they want to do this, they want to do that. So it can be sometimes quite difficult trying to make sure that you stick to your schedule and get done what you're supposed to get done that week. But I must say that this week has actually been a pretty good week considering, because normally I would have gotten a lot less done. I think this week I've remained more focused than any other week for some reason. Yeah, it's been a good week. It's been a good
brilliant.
week.
That's
Yeah.
good to hear. And just for those viewers who do not know what you do, what you're about, tell us a little bit about, who is Marcia Phinn? What does she do? What makes her tick?
Oh, what makes me tick? Right, okay. Well, what do? I do a number of different things because I'm an entrepreneur, so I've got my fingers in a few different pies at the moment. One of them being jewelry designing. I've been doing that for probably about 4 to 5 years now. I have a jewelry business. I design jewelry and I make all of them by hand. And I have an online store where I sell my products. And I sometimes do craft markets and different types of events for crafters and, different events that you can get a stall to exhibit your stuff. I'm sometimes at those events as well. So that's a jewelry business that I have. I'm also an artist. I paint. So my forte is portrait art and abstract. I've just recently started doing abstract art, but portrait is the thing that is really my area of expertise, if you want to call it that. So I love doing portrait art.
When you say
Um,
portrait art, do you actually have people that model for you, or is it from your imagination? What kind of portrait art?
so sometimes people will send me their photographs and I'll do a portrait from their photograph. It's mainly from photograph. I haven't actually done any live sit-ins for
Yeah.
my own work. However, I have done live sit-ins of paintings and drawings. I have a few drawings that have been from live sit-ins, yeah. But most of my work, most of my commissioned work is for people send their photographs most of the time. They'll send their photographs of themselves or them and their family or their partner and so on and so forth. Yeah.
Okay, so and
So
roughly how long would a portrait take you to do?
depends on how many people are in the portrait. Number one, that's going to be a mitigating factor. So it can, and if it's more than one person, it takes longer. So I would say anything from about two. I normally say about 2 weeks. About 2 weeks gives me enough time to get that done. Anything from 2 weeks to 3 weeks. Two to
So,
3 weeks, I'd say.
so for anyone listening that's interested in having a portrait done for Christmas, have you still got space for people to actually send in their requests?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yeah.
Interesting. And you've heard that here. If you want a portrait done for a loved one or for yourself, I know the lady.
I should have actually pulled out a piece of my work so that you could have a look. If I'd have thought about it, I should have actually done that. But hey, if you're interested, I can always send you some pictures of work that I've done already. But yeah, so I do the artworks, I do the jewelry, but I also have a coaching business called Let It Go and Live, where I help people to let go of past hurts or anything that may be holding them back from moving forward, basically. Any kind of emotional baggage or emotional pain, anything that's holding them back from moving forward and pressing towards their goals and their dreams and their visions. So I run a coaching program and I have different types of programs that I offer for people. So yeah, that's the other aspect. So I would say for me that they're all creative. For me,
Yes.
they're all creative. You know, the jewelry making, the artwork and the coaching. I also see that as an art. I see it as a craft as well, you know.
Mm.
So that's what takes up my time, those three main things. Although
Do
there are other things that I do.
okay. But it's interesting because you say that, they're all creative and you yourself, do art and you use your hands a lot. Do you actually use any of your artistic talents in your coaching program with your clients?
Well, there is one program that I do that actually does use a bit of artwork in there, expressing yourself through art. So yes, that some aspects of my artistry do come into my coaching program as well. And especially when it comes to the one-to-one programs, it's more easier for me to tailor specifically to whatever the needs of the client is. So yes, so it is in there as well.
Yeah, yeah. No, my mind always putting things into little places, and it's just, it just seemed like a natural progression that you have the talent, you have the skill, and being able to use art to express yourself. If there's sometimes people that find it difficult to discuss certain aspects of life and what's going on for them, and because your program is about letting go of past trauma, I could just see the art being a very sort of gentle, should we say, way of people releasing some of that trauma and being able to, draw or sketch something so it's coming through the hand and the pen and,
Yes,
things may
yeah.
come up in that space. So, yeah, wow,
But
powerful.
I also use music as well because I was very much involved in music for many, many years. I taught, I done vocal tuition for over 10 years and I run various different courses over in Hackney where I was teaching choirs, groups, individuals, and I ran that course for quite a few years. And there was in the hundreds of people that I worked with. So that was a singing program that I used to run, but I also incorporate music into my coaching program as well, because I find that music has so many kind of healing properties to it. So there is an aspect of music that is also involved in there as well. I won't tell you specifically how, but there is, I do incorporate music into it as well.
Yeah, and yeah, again, and they all get into the senses, and it's again, when you're coaching people, to be able to release through your senses, to open up the channels so you can be more expressive and receptive. Wow. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. You are probably a lady of many talents.
Thank you, Roxanne.
Yeah, sometimes you know somebody, you see them, you speak to them, but you do not always have time to delve into every aspect and all the different things that a person's doing. So having this opportunity this evening to speak to you and hear even more about what you're doing, and to, you know, unravel your onion, shall we say, to get more. So, you know, I feel privileged.
Thank you.
And, you know, tonight we've got Jacqueline Francis joining us. So hi, Jacqueline. Thank you.
Hello, Jacqueline. Hi.
Joanna Lewandowska. Thank you, Joanna, for joining. And yes, it is very interesting hearing about what Marcia does. We've got Richard Fay. Hi.
Hello, Richard. Hi.
Oh, he's such a sweetie. He's favourite. Yeah. You're one of our favourites too. So, you know, so thank you for sharing a little bit of yourself with us, to tell us a bit more about who you are and what you do. And you know, with what you're doing, so with your art, with your jewelry making, and I understand you don't just make jewelry, you make certain other things too.
I do. I used to, oh, you see, it's going to sound crazy. They say, you know, I've said this many times over, that people used to have that saying, jack of all trades, but master of none. But you know what? I flip that saying on top of its head. And I say, master of many trades, jack of none. Yeah. And the reason why I say that is because I do so many different things, but I'm a person that if I'm doing something, I really do like to put my all into it. Yeah. So I like to give it my best in everything that I'm doing. I like to, if I'm going to go for it, I just go for it. I don't do half measures. I don't do, you know, just putting my toe in and dipping my toe in the water. I jump straight in. So, yeah. So, you know, many years ago, I used to do dressmaking and designing as well. I studied at the London College of Fashion for a spell of time, and I used to do a lot of haute couture work. So I used to have clients from all over the place that used to come, and I used to sew for them. So sewing is also something that I do. Dressmaking and designing, sewing is also something that I do, and I love it. It's a craft as well. You know, it's another craft. That's the way I see it. And as you said before, it's something that I do with my hands. So I do believe that there's something about my hands that, you know, are very, very important to me. My hands are very important to me, because it's the things that I use to express myself in so many different ways. And it's funny because with the coaching as well, I would say that with the music combined with my hands is how I deliver some of my coaching program, depending on what it is, what the person needs and how I'm working with them. But yes, music and hands, touch is very important to me. Yeah. Hugs are very important. People get a lot of release from trauma, as you said, through hugs, through even touching on their head and just touching on their shoulder. You know, I'm not talking about any kind of intimate touch here. I'm talking about just a compassionate hold of the shoulder and so on and so forth whilst I'm singing and stuff like that. So yeah, my hands.
Yeah. Again, depending on the genre of music that you do, singing touches right into the heart space.
Yeah,
you know, and I can remember years ago, we went to a Sounds of Blackness concert. And
Oh.
we were there, and we were quite near the front. And you know when an artist sings, and you really feel it in your heart space, that it just takes you to another dimension. And it was one of those evenings, and I can remember it to this day, you know, as many years ago as it was, I can remember how I felt standing in that space.
Wow.
And just hearing the voices and hearing the singing, and it hit me that even where after the concert and we were on our way home, I was floating home. You know, it wasn't a case of, okay, we've done, bye. That feeling was still there. So when you can sing and touch somebody's heart and, you know, probably their soul, and as you said, if, you know, you're inspired to then touch a shoulder, just a gentle touch on the head, because you don't always know exactly what's going on for them, but their instinct will draw you to wherever they need that release. That's very powerful.
Music is very, very powerful, and music is so healing. Music is really, you know, music is really very, very healing. So, you know, it's a very, very important part of my life. Music, you know, generally speaking.
Yeah. Oh yes, you did mention something about an event where you were going to sing, didn't you? Yes.
Me?
You know, I
Roxanne.
did that.
Now, if I remember rightly, let's get correct here. Now, if I remember rightly, somebody was insisting and implying that I'd sing at this event. I'm not going to mention any names, but yes.
But a certain Miss Francis actually said, "Will Marcia sing for us tonight?"
Who said that?
A certain Miss Francis. Not that I'm
who's that? Is that somebody in the comments? Who is it? Come on.
Jacqueline. Right. I don't know.
Jacqueline. Was it Jacqueline? I'm sure Jacqueline posed that question the other day. I'm sure she had me singing on some live. Right. I will sing what? I will sing a line. I will sing a line of something. What it would be is going to be another question.
I'll give you time. Let it go over, and then it will just come out when it's ready to come out. So, okay, I'm going to hold you to that. Yes. We've also got Robert Brooker joining us. Hi, Robert. Thanks for joining. Hi, Sheldon. Thanks for joining. So,
hello, Sheldon. Roxanne is really doing me bad here tonight, Sheldon. I think, you know, you need to fix her up.
Anyway, we swiftly on. All of your talents, various elements of you, which have, you know, luckily combined into your coaching and helping others. What are your aspirations for your business going forward?
For my business, for my jewelry business, I would like to see my jewelry in John Lewis's. I would like to see my jewelry in Fenwick's. I would like to see my jewelry in, you know, in Harrods, in Selfridges. I'd like to see my jewelry in some of those big stores. And in order for me to get there, obviously, you know, I think I've mentioned this on your programs before where you've been talking about business, is that I need a manufacturer. So if anybody can point me in that direction, that would be absolutely superb. I need to be able to just design my jewelry, do a sample, send it off to the manufacturer, and they do their thing, and it's manufactured. You know, and they can send out how many dozens to this store and how many dozens to that store. That is my ultimate vision for my jewelry business at the moment. Anything to say about that, Mrs. Roxanne? No?
Yeah, you know my brain's ticking, don't you?
Sorry. Right. So that is my ultimate, because at the moment it's all very hands-on for me. As I said, I make everything myself by hand. I do all different types of jewelry. I mean, this is a clay piece that I made. Wow. This is made out of clay, this one. Yeah. And they do take time to make. They do take time to make. I make like wood earrings as well, and I do the wood burning onto the earrings. I do other earrings where I just paint onto them, like portrait earrings, I call those ones.
Wow.
And I do, what else do I do? Wood burning, clay, and yeah, I think that's it. I think that's it. I think that's it at the moment. But yeah, so it takes time. Some pieces can take me a couple of days to make
Mm.
because you've got to go through a process of waiting for glues to dry, glosses to dry, and all this kind of stuff. So some of them, the process can be over a number of days. So I would love to actually take myself away from the actual making process and
We do,
just
yeah.
make a sample.
We
Sorry,
do need to
darling?
have a conversation, definitely, because I was just, ideas have just come to me, and a way that you can scale this, and it's
Mm.
also, but it's not. There's a social side to it as well as the commercial side that I think could be quite,
Mm.
yeah, quite phenomenal actually. So yes, we definitely need to have a conversation off air to really discuss
Right.
it fully and look at where you can take this, because yeah, as you're speaking, it's yeah, I can
Mm.
see that. And as you said, once you've got your manufacturing sorted and you can deliver the orders, then
Yes.
yeah, that can just expand. So yes, we definitely do need to have a conversation, madam.
Thank
Mm.
you. That would be great. So that is my vision for my jewelry. And I'm hoping as my time frees up from making the jewelry, then I can spend more time with my coaching business and with my artwork. So my artwork now, I mean, there's no limits. I want my artwork to be exhibited in some of those big galleries all over the world. I want my artwork to be everywhere. Right? I don't see why I should be limited. You know, I love painting. I love painting just as much as I love making jewelry as well. Don't get me wrong, I love making jewelry, but I don't want to be tied to making jewelry all day, sometimes all night. Throughout the night I'm working sometimes as well. Um, so I would like for there to be more time for me to work on my artwork as well. And then with my coaching business, I mean, with that to me is more heart centered. So the more people that I can help, the better. Because I'm telling you, I've had so many different experiences in my life that have been traumatic, and I've overcome and I've moved on to where I'm at now. And, you know, I'm forever sharing my stories, and they are stories.
Yeah, you're
Yeah, I'm
a
forever,
storytelling, yes.
yes, I'm forever sharing a part of my journey,
Mm.
because I believe that in me sharing my journey, then it's going to help somebody else, and
Yeah.
that's what I'm all about where that is concerned. I don't want for anybody to have to experience what I've experienced.
Mm.
I'd much prefer to tell my story and for somebody to dodge the bullet, as it were, and to avoid going down certain routes that I did, or experiencing some of the things that I did. And if they've already experienced it, I would like to be in a position to help them to change what they've experienced into a positive experience, as to it being like an albatross around their neck, or a chain around their leg, a ball and chain into their leg that they can't move, and they're dragging themselves, they're trying to move forward and they can't.
Mm.
So my heart is really to help as many people as I possibly can to let go of that
Mm.
baggage, to let go of that hurt, let go of that trauma, and to live a happy and fulfilled life. And I don't care where they are in this world. I don't care what class they are in this world. I don't care what race they are in this world. As long as they're a human being that needs help, that needs that support, needs that change, and needs somebody to walk alongside with them to make that change, then I would love to be that person to do that.
Wow. And because as I coach, but I tend to coach more with people who want to move their businesses and so forth. When you have somebody in a space, and sometimes, it can be easy to get drawn in to their emotions, especially if you're emphatic. So how do you create your boundaries so that you're not absorbing their issues as such? Because it's quite easily done if you're not aware and mindful that not to get so drawn into a situation that it becomes yours.
It's true. And it's funny, because there was a lady, and it's funny because I didn't actually start out coaching with her. I actually started out singing lessons with her. And that's why I said the singing and the music is very closely connected. Because what started to happen is we were doing I was doing one-to-ones with her, and she started to act really, really strange. There was some strange behavior that started to happen. And it was really freaky. I can't say all of what took place because of confidentiality. I mean, I know I haven't mentioned her name, but at the same time, but there was some behavior basically that led to her being hospitalized after that. Wow. Yeah, and for me, that was the first person that I'd worked with and actually become very close to. And then when I saw all that she was experiencing, it really did pull on my heartstrings. It really, really did. But what I think at the time, because I was so involved with so many different people all at one time, I don't think I took on board all that was happening. Do you understand what I'm saying? I don't know how to explain it, because my mind was occupied. Yeah. So what I'm saying is that occupying your mind with other things and occupying your mind with aspects of your life that can keep you focused, for me, was the key. Yeah. If I didn't have other things that I was doing, or other people that I was working with, or other things to deal with generally, I think I would have been absorbed by the whole experience. It would have been a lot more traumatic to me than, because I found it quite, upsetting at the time, but I kind of had to let go of it. I kind of had to remind myself, look, you know what? You were working with this lady, you was helping her, but this is what's happening. And what it was, there was a lot of things that was still going on in her life that she wasn't able to have any control over. And that's what caused her to end up in the situation that she did end up in. But yeah, what I would say basically is trying to keep myself occupied, trying to keep myself focused on the goal and what it was that I was purposely trying to do. That's what kind of kept me together. Yeah.
Oh, wow, thank you for sharing
that question.
Yes, thank you for sharing that, Isabel, because as again, when we're dealing with people, we only ever know a fragment of their story, and it's as they evolve and you get deeper into it that we may see aspects of them that we had no clue existed. And then how do you handle that? How do you deal with it? So for those of us that do coach, it is a case of being mindful that you have got somebody's life in your hands, and anything can happen, and we cannot be callous about how we move forward with people, because we can, it can take one little thing that can flip a switch. So yeah, thank you for sharing. That's a very, very, very profound situation that you described as something that's very critical and crucial for us to bear in mind. I'm going to just read a few of our messages.
Sorry, before you go on there, Roxanne, I'd just like to add one little thing that also helped me to get through that, and would help anybody basically that's working with somebody and finding that there's situations similar or even worse that they need to face, and might find themselves taking it on board or taking on absorb. What's wrong with my mouth? absorbing it all, yeah. And that was doing work on myself, doing a lot of reflection. So at the end of the day, sitting back, thinking about what took place, why did that take place, how could I have helped more, how could I have avoided it more, or how, you know, self-questioning basically. And, you know, really getting to the bottom of yourself and where you're at and how you felt about that situation. So you're doing your own counseling on yourself, basically. That's what it is.
But for me, my thing that I always say for anybody that's going to become a coach, you have to have self-awareness before you can coach anybody else.
Yeah.
Because you're not there to project your issues onto your clients. But some people have their own agenda, shall we say. So when they're coaching, because they've already got their own agenda, whether that person's issue is a certain thing or not, they're going on their agenda rather than really being present for their client and therefore giving them the best advice or support or direction that's for them. It's not what they need for themselves. So, yeah, thank you for hitting on that, because it's very crucial. This is any coaches that may be watching. Your agenda is for your life and your situation. And when you have self-awareness, and therefore you're dealing with your clients from their space, not from your space, because really you're there as a sounding board and the reflection for them to be able to open up and make their own choices and their own decisions. And you know, the good coaches know that they facilitate that process of growth and blossoming rather than add issues onto a situation that may not be there or present for that person that you're working with. So hopefully this has been useful for somebody that's watching today or watching on the replay. Now, can I go to some comments, please, Marcia?
Yes, you're free to do that now. Okay. You're released.
Remember, you got to sing, so you stay there and laugh. Anyway. Right. Oh, Sean made a comment. I think that was to him sorting me out. He said, "If only."
Really? I know. She's a bit of a hand. It's a bit of a handle, isn't she?
What type of wood do you normally use for your earrings?
I'm not specific in the type. I mean, you know, but it's normally, I'm not really particular about the type because most of them I can burn onto, but I'm just more mindful about the weight of the earring. I'm more mindful about the thickness of the earring as well, because that also determines what you can do with it. So I'm not very particular about the type. You know, it doesn't have to be mahogany and, you know, whatever else, but that's it.
Okay, lovely thing. And then Richard is saying you love making us laugh out loud too, Marcia.
Oh, yeah. Yes, Richard, I do love to laugh. It's a medicine. Laughter is a medicine. I mean, you know, if we're not laughing, what are we doing? Come on, we've got to enjoy life. That's what we're only here once. We're only here once. And I do believe that we should be enjoying it as much as we can. Yeah, and I love to laugh. Yeah, I do.
That even reminds me of a song, but I think the song was "I Love to Dance" or "I Love to Love." You can remember that song. Don't try and tell me you're too young. Next question.
No, I love to love.
Anyway, we digress.
Okay.
Jacqueline has said, "Have you got any samples of artwork to show us?"
Sorry, who was that?
Jacqueline was asking, do you have any samples?
Jacqueline.
Yeah.
I do. Oh, right. Let's see if I can. I'm going to see if I can maneuver this camera. All right. Let's see. Let's take you on a little tour. Right. Over here, we've got one piece here. This is one of my abstract pieces. Oops. Let's see if I can get. Yeah, this is an abstract piece that I call Universe. It's called Emerging Universe. Yeah, so as you can see, you've got all the different, you know, planets I would say, coming out of the darkness and emerging into the light here. Yeah, so this one is called Emerging Universe. And it's, I love texture when it comes to painting. So I don't know if you'll see, but it's a very textured painting. Yeah, you can actually feel that. That's 3D. Yeah. There are some, let me just see if I can get this out of the way. And there's some pieces that I'm actually working on down here, if you can have a look. There's a black and white piece there that I'm working on, a portrait. There's pieces there. All right, so what I should do is let you have a look out here. Oopsie. Sorry, guys, if you can have a look in the hallway. Okay, there's another abstract piece here. The lighting, hold on a sec. I'm going to try and see if I can adjust the lighting ever so slightly. Oopsie. Oh, sorry, guys, I'm coming. I'm coming. Right, here we go. That's a bit better. So this is another abstract piece here. I haven't actually got a name for this piece, but as you can see, the 3D bit coming on along there again. I do love a bit of texture. I do love texture. It's that hand thing. I love to feel things. That's what it is. And there's a self-portrait here.
Okay, no comment as with you.
No comment. You want a closer look? I want to see it again, Roxanne. Yeah, see, there it is. Yeah. And that is like an African fabric sort of print that I've painted on here. You know, that design. And then here we have a little Afro girl. Oops. Let me see if I can show you. Oh, I can't get the angle right. But there you go. That's a little Afro girl. And that's called Lollipop Girl, this one. As you can see, she's holding her lollipop. Cute little thing she is.
Okay, yep, you can see that one.
Yeah. And I shall show you one more, which is another abstract piece up the top here. Yeah, so those are, yeah. So there you go.
Okay, well, thank you.
Oops. Oh, all right. Coming back out of the gallery. Oh, the camera. Oh, dearie me. Okay. So there you go, guys. That's some of my artwork there.
Well, thank you for a tour. Lovely. See, you got a gallery tour as well tonight. What more could you ask?
Yeah.
Hi, Stephen Smith joins us from Sarasota in Florida. So thank you for joining us, Stephen.
Hello, Stephen. Hi.
And then Sean again said, do you use acrylics, watercolor, oil paints?
I use acrylics and I use oil paints. The black and white one that I showed you that was down on the floor, that one is actually in oil. The abstract one at the top, the first abstract, the universe one, that one is an acrylic. Yeah, so I tend to use both of them. But to be honest with you, I love to use oil paints for portraits because you get such a better blend with the paints. I just love the way that the oils blend together so much more better than the acrylic. Only difference is with the oils, it takes longer to dry. It can take weeks for it to dry. So, and then you have the smell of the terps and everything else in the house. But, you know, but yes, I do prefer oils. I do actually prefer working with oil paints.
Lovely. Thank you for that one. And where we are. Okay. So Stephen Smith has said, good advice. He needs to be careful not to overanalyze his thoughts. So yes, because we can get caught up in doing that. Yes. And then Richard's reminding us that he's on after us, so we can't run over.
All right, Richard. Okay, we're not going to interrupt your show. We'll be off, okay?
Jacqueline saying they look awesome, so there you go.
Thank you.
Stephen says you're very talented. Richard gave us another countdown.
Sorry, Richard.
Gave us another countdown. And then Stephen has said, sweet watercolors, acrylics, and oil paints. And he sprays a porcelain glaze. Oh yeah, because Stephen actually does decoration and stuff. So yes.
Really? Oh wow.
So,
okay. Ooh.
And then he's actually stuck up for us because he says, "Oh no, Richard." So, well, now that we've been told, let's see how much time we've got, shall we? We've got a couple of minutes. Okay. So, okay, so you mentioned a little bit about the holidays and half term and how actually you managed to get more done this week with half term than in other weeks when you haven't got your young man off.
Yes.
But how do you actually find time to give your best to being a mother, but also being an entrepreneur?
Well, I do. There are times throughout the day that I actually dedicate to him. He may not see it as me dedicating time to him, but it is time that I'm dedicating to him. So I have slots in the day because he's an only child. So of course he wants a bit more attention probably than other children that have got siblings. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I tend to try and do little bits and pieces with him throughout the day. And then I still go back and I do my work. And a lot of my work is actually done when he goes to bed in the nighttime as well. And that's one of the reasons why I probably tend to stay up way too late. I should be, off to bed a lot earlier than I actually am. But I find that in the nighttime is when I get quite a bit of my work done. Yeah. So those of you who notice that I'll be online late doing stuff, posting jewelry up and posting different stuff here and there, or working on some pieces.
Yeah, and you do what you can when you can sometimes, and if your business is your passion, you make the time to get the business done. So yeah, thank you for sharing that with us. And okay, see, I had my timer set, Richard. So I was into your time.
Oops, the bell has gone, people. Yes. It's official.
See, we are disciplined. So, okay, we have to wrap up now, but it's been a pleasure to have you online. What parting message would you like to leave with our viewers?
My parting message will be that we cannot hold on to things forever, because if we do, we're hindering ourselves. We're actually hurting ourselves. We're not hurting the persons that may have hurt us. We're not hurting, nobody else is getting hurt except for us. So it's time to let it go, and it's time to let it go and live. That's my words to you. Don't hold on to things, that don't really serve you anymore. You need to let it go. You need to let it go and live. And if you need help to let it go and live, I'm here. Please direct message me. I'd love to work with you. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much, Marcia, for joining us tonight. I always appreciate when somebody is brave enough to say yes and come on, be interviewed, because I never prep you as to what I'm going to ask you. It's always happens as we speak. So, I really do appreciate you giving up your time to be with us, to share your pearls of wisdom, share a bit about your journey. And to everyone that's taken the time out tonight to be with us, thank you. We appreciate spending time with you because you make the show. So thank you and have a fabulous weekend. Do make sure that you relax, reconnect, recharge, so you can start the week, full of beans, full of passion and raring to go to take next week by storm. And I look forward to connecting with you all here on Monday evening at 7, when we will be catching up and spending some quality time together. So have a fabulous weekend and good night.
Thank you.